When it comes to laying acrylic, I have really just practiced the concept of working in small sections, being conscious of not applying too much product. That's the biggest downfall that I had in the beginning. I had bulky nails because I was putting too much product. And it was really that simple. This is my outcome now when I do product. Taking a 80/80 coarse grit file, I'm going to start filing the nails flat across the entire middle of the nail. I'm not working on any sides. I'm not rotating my file until I'm done doing the top and the bottom flat. I'm blending my sides. I'm keeping my file straight up and down and not tilting it inward, creating any divots in my nails. Doing the same thing with the other side. You can see what needs to be filed. When you keep it straight, the file is going to do the work with evening the acrylic where it needs to be even. Once I have blended all of my acrylic and gotten it smooth, I then go over it and just round out the coarse lines, the harsh lines I have created. Cleaning up my sidewalls here, you can see the lumpy and bumpiness, especially right here. You can see what needs to be filed away. Taking that file, making sure it's parallel with what needs to be filed away, and creating a straight file. Stopping, looking at my work, and going back and seeing what needs to be filed once again. Keeping that file out of the sidewall groove helps prevent that etching, that little divot sometimes we make. On this side, I got, what is it called? Overflow into my sidewall. So I'm pushing back my skin and then taking my file. I'm not just going over top. I'm pushing that skin away from the acrylic. That way I can get a closer application to my sidewall. To clients and even to me, the free edge is the most important part. Getting that crisp square shape, or even if you're doing coffin or even stiletto, getting that shape is really important on the end because it makes all of the difference with the outcome, especially for polish application and the whole nine. So getting that square shape helps. Cleaning up my sides once again before I am completely finished. I'm still not comfortable using any other bit than a safety bit. This is going to be a 5-in-1 safety bit. Safety bits are bits that have rounded tops. That way you don't nick and cut your client. Sealing the cuticle is going to be the best thing for retention when it comes to acrylics, when it comes to gel-X, when it comes to pedicures, the whole nine. Taking that same concept and pulling that skin away from my acrylic and filing thoroughly around the cuticle and sealing it. You'll see the small pieces coming off. If you are having a hard time getting into that little nook, what you have to do is, because you probably applied a little bit too much acrylic, you have to take the top of your file, just like such, and file the top down at an angle, debulking that acrylic, and then going back in at a 45-degree angle will then allow you to get close just like this. But if there's too much acrylic where we just removed, that's why you're having a hard time, and that could even be why you're having rings of fire. Now I'm going to be going in with a fine grit sanding band, and the speed I'm going to be using is about an 8. I would never use this fast of a speed on the natural nail plate. I'm only doing that because it's acrylic. The angle I'm taking is not going to be flat. It's going to be at a slight angle to really be able to etch into the acrylic and seal what I need to seal. Rings of fire are created typically because of improper angling of the drill bit onto the nail plate. So being conscious that you're tilting the finger, pointing it downward, getting your sanding band at the correct flat neutral angle you need it to, so that you can get where you need to be. Taking a break from filing and just observing my work. Getting the free edge underneath is going to be a big part of debulking the nail. I typically take it at a downward slope, only getting the base of my drill bit underneath there to debulk that acrylic. After checking my work, I go back in with my hand file. Sometimes using any drill bit will create little lumps and bumps, so I just get it back even with the hand file before I go in with my final step, which is going to be a buffer and also cuticle oil. Cuticle oil to get all of those small etches that typically happen from the file and from the sanding band. And I just buff it out. Be careful with your buffer. Too much of using the buffer will lose and change your shape. It's the same thing as a file. You want to buff lightly. You're just doing it to eliminate the scratches off the nail plate and off your acrylic nail. This is my final outlook. Clean cuticle, good shaping. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate y'all. Bye.